Nothing has worked for me to regain my health until I started eating a carnivore diet. And that was because I was eating these inflammatory foods. So the one thing that I get asked every single place I go, if I tell them, oh yeah, I've been eating a carnivore diet since the middle of January of 2023, they're like, oh my gosh, what is your cholesterol? It isn't how much weight I've lost. It isn't, well, they usually say, oh, you look like you're healthier, or you look like you've lost weight. What are you doing? And when I tell them, oh, I've just been eating, strict, sometimes it depends on who I'm talking to, but I'll say, oh, it's a version of keto, but I don't eat vegetables or fruits or nuts or anything except meat and cheese and dairy. They'll say, oh my goodness, well, what is your cholesterol? Don't you have heart disease in your family? It's just the number one question. They never ask anything else. And I do understand why people are so concerned with that, because it is pervasively marketed that, red meat is bad for your health, and there are links to diabetes, and, it's links to heart disease and blah, blah, blah. That is just not the case. All my lab markers are optimal, and they're much better than they were 10 months ago. I've lost almost 30 pounds in a year in this last 10 months. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. Aww. My healthy cholesterol, my HDL, is right where it should be, and so are my triglycerides. They're perfect. I have no health issues. My kidney function and my liver functions are great, but that is the prevailing thought, is that I am going to have a heart attack. And in fact, a friend of mine, she goes to a nurse practitioner who frankly is pretty opinionated, and mentioned people doing a high fat or high protein carnivore diet or high fat, keto, will die within 5 years. So you could just kiss her goodbye, because you can't, it's not sustainable. It's not for longevity. You need to eat lean meat and only eat red meat, at the most twice a week. Well, this is the only thing that has ever worked for me to get healthier. I was trying to lose weight, and I have been trying to lose weight since, for 10 years, since right before I turned 40. And I could just never lose weight. I did not grow up having trouble, managing my weight. Even after I had my 2 daughters, I didn't struggle to lose weight per se, but I did. That's when I started, listening to the health experts, and that you need superfoods, and you need 7 to 8, servings of fruits and vegetables every day to fill you up and to get your fiber and your vitamins and your minerals and all that. Of course, that never worked for me. Nothing has worked for me to regain my health until I started eating a carnivore diet. And that was because I was eating these inflammatory foods and high fiber foods and spinach and kale and almond milk, and those things just did not work for me. They always left me feeling hungry. And in fact, eventually I ended up having a histamine reaction to something I'd eaten, and thank goodness that happened in the scheme of things, because it had me search. I've had 2 major autoimmune illnesses treated with drastic measures. I had Graves' disease, which is a thyroid disease, and you take a radiation pill. It's a pill. You take a pill to deaden your thyroid because it has stopped working properly. So now I take replacement thyroid medicine for the rest of my life. I've been doing that since I was 30. Before that, I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease, which is an inner ear disease that is an inflammation, autoimmune. They don't know exactly why you get it, what causes it. But I lived with that for years and years and years, and struggled with that until I was 38, and I had major surgery to just drill out my inner ear so that it would not send signals to my brain that I was dizzy. And those are drastic measures. I'm deaf in this ear now. I do wonder if I know that if I had been eating less inflammatory foods that inflame me, that it would have improved those two issues. Also have rosacea, but it has pretty much cleared up since I've been eating a proper human diet. And then I also struggle with some uveitis, which is an eye condition. I'm healing much quicker now that I've been eating, which is protein, fat, and just protein and fat. And I love it. And I eat salt. It's the only thing that's ever helped me lose weight and manage my weight. It's improved my anxiety and depression has improved 100%. It's improved 100%. Do I still have some? Sure. I do understand why people are so concerned about cholesterol, because it's everything you hear and see and you've been told for the last 2 generations. The war on trans fat, saturated fat, unsaturated fat, all these fats, and that started in the 50s. Well, my parents were born, in 52 and in 53. So that's generational. I say, let's bring butter back. Let's bring it back in style. One book that helped me the most, and it's a great quick read, is Dr. Ovadia's book, Stay Off My Operating Table. It's very to the point. It's very simple. It's not super sciencey, which I like super sciencey also, but this is such a good guide that I bought it as a hard copy, and then I passed it along to my brother. I gave him my copy that I had. Now I got a new copy for myself. I also sent another copy to our friend so he could read it. But that is my go-to book. It gives you simple ways, manageable and measurable ways of, seeing how your health is doing. No one ever said anything to me when I was consistently eating junk food and fast food. Nobody asked me what my cholesterol was then, because you don't want to be, you're not rude to people. Like, oh, hey, what's your cholesterol? I had a sweet tooth. I was very addicted to food. And now I never think about food. I don't have trouble, limiting and not eating a bunch of stuff. I just think about food differently. It's just not the same. So I just want you to know my cholesterol is great. It's optimum. If you are wanting to know science-backed information about high, cholesterol, salt, hypertension, those types of things, I suggest reading Stay Off My Operating Table by Dr. Phillip Ovadia. He even goes through different, eating plans that you can try. Simple steps of cutting out this. And it's a system. It's not a diet. It's a system of habits that you can implement, and you can ease into it. I would suggest easing into it because I went full bore and that's pros and cons as well. But if I was going to redo it, I would probably ease into it. It would have helped with some of the issues that I encountered, like oxalate dumping, really just oxalate dumping. Other than that, I did not struggle with keto flu when I first switched over. I had a little bit of, I had 2 or 3 days at the most of feeling really lousy, but I was fortunate. We had a big snowstorm, so we were all stuck at home. So that was good. I got to just rest and kind of veg and, that kind of thing. So yeah, Stay Off My Operating Table. That is a great book and a great reference point. It just goes through a lot of different things, and it helped me, and it helps me talk to people that might be, super concerned. And I can just say, hey, this is what I read, and these are the studies. And I've watched hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos from, Dr. Barry, and the medical point, from a physician's point to anecdotal with, Laura Spath, and it is in Kelly Hogan. These are people that have been doing it for a long time, 5 years or more. All right, thank you for watching. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.